Hello everyone, my name is Ahmad Fadi Shukri bin Ahmad Shukri. I am the leader for the group 2 for the philosophy and current issues subject. So here I will actually try to present the assignment 2 of our work. So first, the topic that we choose is what is truth. But before that, what is epistemology? Epistemology is the branch of philosophy that studies knowledge, what it is, how we get it, and how we know if our beliefs are true or justified. So, what is truth? Truth is generally understood as something that corresponds to reality or fact. In this digital age, the internet flooded with a lot of information for public. Also, a lot of fake information, such as fake news, also flooded in public too. We're trying to discuss and interview people as how did they deal with the information given from the net, as how they trying to determine whether the information is true or false.
Thank you for coming for today. So let's ask both of you. Have you guys ever heard of epistemology before?
I don't know what meaning of this. From what I understand, it is a branch of philosophy, maybe like the study of the truth.
So both of you to get the idea of it. So as for the brief explanation, right, epistemology is the study of knowledge. And as for today, we'll be focusing on the idea of truth in the new modern era. So now let's ask you, have you ever heard of fake news before, either for which cases like crime hoax or even mild cases?
One of the fake news that I actually remember was during the COVID-19 pandemic, where people say that the vaccine shot would actually give you HIV infection, and then later on it was found to be like false news.
So as for the next question, I would like to ask you, how do you usually check if the information is true?
I have seen it before, but it's not from the official site, but it's from TikTok and Threads.
So by your answer, who you consider as trusted sources?
I usually compare with news outlet and government website to ensure that it just accurate.
Alright, so as for the final question for today, I would like to ask you guys, why verified information is important today, the reason and how it affects our community as a whole?
I think it's important because nowadays, like, false information can spread quickly, especially with the world having like so many advanced technologies. And it is very easy to spread information around like many different platforms such as TikTok and Instagram. And it's also very, very important that we protect false information from going to the public before it is verified, because things like defamation and vaccine is a crime because it can be very damaging to like one's reputation, especially if they're public figures or influential people. Their words carry meanings, and if your reputation is damaged or slightly looked down upon by the public, then the words that they are trying to tell the world might not be taken as seriously as it should have. What do you think?
I think it is important nowadays as a reason. Wrong news actually can make people worry for no reason. When people share true information, society becomes more united and reliable.
Alright, so that's all for today. Thank you for coming. I hope you have a great day.
In times of misinformation and fake news, what does the truth means to you?
The truth, at least to me, is based on several things. First of all, our data, research, but also people's opinions and their perspective, especially those affected by said news or real-world events. It is important for us to actually be open-minded and listen for everyone and their views on certain things, of course. And especially when looking at things like data and research and all of these publicly available information, you must also be aware that they too could be biased towards certain things, and they too could skew the truth in some ways. So even when doing research, you must be aware that sometimes people have their own agenda that they want to spread. So in pursuit of truth, always hear people out, especially those that are affected by the news.
Do you believe the truth is being threatened by misinformation?
Yes.
Why do you believe that?
People who practice misinformation or who partake in misinformation normally has some sort of worldview or agenda that they have. And in order to spread this ideology, agenda, or worldview, they sometimes take objective truths or information and skew it in a way that befits their narrative. And as such, people who wanted to find out the truth get led astray, essentially, because the information they're receiving are manipulated by those that have ulterior motives.
Did encounter one of those fake news before?
Yes, of course, 100%. Especially back in quarantine period, there's a lot of like fake news scrolling around, especially in Twitter as well as in Reddit. So like, there's a lot of like information people that giving me that it's not real. So a lot of times I had to double check, and especially nowadays with the overgrowing coming of AI, has been populating the internet. So social media has become a bit risky for especially young people, because young people cannot like understand the information as good as old adults, so who can like memorize and understand the situation better. So young people are more to like jump into conclusions with the information provided, and they will like just share it and just spread a lot of like false information.
Thanks for joining me. I'd like to ask you a few quick questions about truth and information. First, when you see news or information online, what's the first thing you usually do to decide if it's true?
It's just some random TikTok video or a tweet without a source. I don't take it too seriously. I will try to check if the same information appears in a few different places, like on news websites or official accounts. If it's only trending on social media, but nowhere else, then I will pretty skeptical about it.
How about social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, or Twitter? Do you trust them as sources of truth?
I do say I only trust them halfway. They are good, but hearing about things quickly, but they're not always accurate. Anyone can post anything, so there's no real guarantee it's correct. I might use social media as a starting point, but I will rely it alone unless I can confirm it the story somewhere else.
Thank you everyone for coming. So we're going to start the group discussion, and I've actually been thinking about some questions to you guys. And first of all, do you guys ever actually encounter any fake news in the internet in your experience?
Yes.
I agree with a bunch of them.
All right, next question. Do you guys ever had like difficulties to actually searching for truth because somehow that when you search on something you always got the fake information or the fake news or stuff like that which is like you never get the answer that is true or the answer that you want, but instead you got the answer that actually might harm you, something like that.
Well, for me, it's kind of difficult because spreading fake news is easy because you don't need to plan ahead. And especially the fact it's relatively easy to make people believe it's true. So they full on spread the fake news so easily compared to the actual truth. Because the true story took a long time and a long research compared to fake stories. You just tell whatever and just spread out to your friends, their whole family, or in social media.
I wish I agree too, since as we know, social media is a wide selala kelompok in one group, so it is easy to create an echo chamber within the community. Whereas it was really hard for us to find the truth within all the different opinions between each others. Okay, so that's it.
Yeah, I can see that. It's like what does the Malay said, like kata di bawah tempurung, stuff like that. Yeah, it can actually affect the one group of people that the thoughts just going to stay on their group and it's going to stay there and not going anywhere. I can see that.
It spreads quickly, especially on social media, and can mislead people, create confusion, and even influence important decisions like election or health choices.
All right then. So before we end our discussion, do you guys always fact check every time you encounter any kind of information before accepting it as the truth or false?
Education plays a major role. Media literacy should be taught from a young age so that people can learn how to question sources, check facts, and recognize misleading content. When people are aware of how fake news is presented and spread, such as through by manipulated image or emotional language, they are more likely to pause before believing or sharing it.
As for me, I do check For the verification of the fake news, whether they are fake or not, I usually check whether through the same platform by checking through the official news channel. So by analyzing whether the story has evidence, data, or only emotional claims throughout the comment section, so we can see by different official internet and all.
Government and authorities can help by setting clear laws or guidelines about misinformation, especially when it affects public safety, such as during election, pandemics, or national emergencies. However, this must be balanced carefully to avoid censorship or abuse.
It's quite hard to fact check, but it is not. But it is better than just straight up believing what you see in the news nowadays. It's quite hard to fact check, but you need to look up other sources and hope for the best that it is reliant, because people can easily manipulate it. But yes, I do fact check, and I do believe the truth will come out eventually. You just It's just fake news usually. It's quite prominent and show it first in my social media.
Alright then, thank you everyone. So in conclusion, internet is a resourceful tool for this day and age. Despite how technology is getting better, we should always fact check and don't simply believe the information immediately, as anywhere including internet also had fake information everywhere. But that doesn't stop us to find and determine search for truth information.